So, the National Air and Space Museum is set to reopen half of its main building October 14th, and Star Wars will be represented with a full-size X-Wing outside the planetarium. This is on loan from Lucasfilm, and it's a model that appeared in The Rise of Skywalker. So, this past Ranker Pit, we did discuss the new ANDOR trailer that was released, breaking down our thoughts on it. Plus the fact that now the release date has been pushed back from August to September 21st. Our theory is that Disney will be using this to entice people to get a new tier on Disney Plus they are going to be offering, cheaper and with limited ads. If they are offering the new tier in September, like around September 21st, it's the perfect time for those new subscribers to enjoy the 3 premiere episodes of ANDOR. Oh wait, did I say 3? Yep, along with the new date is a new episode that's been added to the original 2 they had planned on dropping. Disney's investors call this week on Wednesday. And we plan on listening in to see if our theory is right. So next week, Ranker Pit will be Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, so that we can discuss what we learned. Mark your calendars and make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss this week's special time. Also, we got this new poster from ANDOR with the trailer. Definitely more similar to the original Star Wars movie posters than what we've been getting with the other Disney Plus shows. But that could be due to that this show is a movie prequel instead of a character standalone, even though this does follow ANDOR. But that's just my guess. Tony Gilroy explained to Empire how ANDOR has broken from the new Disney Plus filming mold. They did not use StageCraft, also known as the volume, at all. He says, yep, we're old school. We didn't use StageCraft at all. It's a choice that looks set to add even more grit and earthiness to a series all about capturing that texture set at the same time when the Star Wars galaxy is a particularly dark and dangerous place to be. Now, this falls in line with Rogue One and its gorgeous visuals and varied locations, deciding to go practical and natural like the original trilogy. While it seems logical because it is the prequel to the movie, his moves surprised many since the volume has become a staple for the Disney properties. Even the actors have commented on the difference. Diego Luna saying, as an actor, it's beautiful. Everything is mechanical. You're interacting with real stuff. And Fiona Shaw echoed his thoughts, stating, my character's house is built from parts of old spaceships. I used to go out and just stare at it. Breathtaking. As mystical as the new look is, it's not easy as filming in the volume, having to deal with the unpredictability of weather, lighting, transportation, and getting everyone who needs to be there. Luna remembers having to walk for hours up a mountain for one shot. Dangerous but gorgeous. And I'll use this as a plug. If this practical stuff interests you, you should be watching Light and Magic. It's the documentary that goes behind the scenes on creating the ILM powerhouse. So, just saying. Every now and again, Mr. Boss is right. You got it out of your system? You're not going to hear that for a while. Again. When breaking down the ANDOR trailer, he commented that the Apple 1984 commercial scene looks like a prison. According to Making Star Wars, it is. So ANDOR infiltrates an Imperial prison facility in the attempt to extract some vital information from the prisoners and the workers. This facility houses skilled prisoners, which includes scientists and engineers who are forced to work for the Empire under horrendous conditions, handcuffed, walking barefoot on wet floors, unable to talk to each other. If the products don't meet the Empire standards, they are shocked via the fluid on the ground. The intel that Cassian is looking for relates to the Project Stardust, aka the Death Star, which the prisoners are working on parts for. This report does point out that in the trailer you see parts that look similar to lightsabers on the production line, so it's speculated that perhaps the kyber crystals are being extracted to be used on the Death Star. Now, a couple weeks ago, we were speculating how many episodes of Andor that Tony Gilroy had directed. At the beginning, he was expected to direct, but then it was later revealed that had changed due to the pandemic and he wouldn't be directing any episodes. Now, according to Variety, he has directed 5 episodes, which include the pilot. Now, there could be a chance that they got Gilroy's duties a little mixed up. He did write the pilot and 4 additional episodes. But even if he did do the extra directing after saying he wasn't, then are we really, there's nothing to complain about there, right? And Bespin Bulletin has a report that someone with a pretty good track record, Reset Era user Ramala, has seen the first 4 episodes of Andor and is reporting that it is not like most Star Wars stories, calling it the most serious, grounded thing Star Wars has ever done. Ramallah also reports that with this being more deliberate, a story that humanizes a lot of the traditionally cartoonish villains. This is telling a grown-up story, and a lot of fans are going to hate it. Which means, of course, that we're going to be discussing this in detail Thursday night on the Ranker Pit. So again, join us 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, and we'll be talking about an in-depth look at this report. Plus, we'll also have some extra discussion on that Light and Magic docuseries. Pedro Pascal was singing praises for his 2 stunt actors on The Mandalorian. When talking to Entertainment Weekly, he explained the collaboration process. He says, I was given the opportunity to establish physical specificity in some ways at the start of the show, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't observing and picking up from what they were doing and handling over so much of it as well. They do the heavy lifting. He then went on to say he was ecstatic when he found out his constant collaborator, Lateef Crowder, was going to be doing his stunts for the show. His thought? Yes, I'm going to look so cool, which he did. Cameron Monaghan had a good chuckle when talking to Screen Rant about the possible live-action appearance of his character, Cal Kestis, from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. He did confirm there is an interest in bringing him to the live-action side, but that was all he could say, with a laugh. If he did make the jump, he would be the first video game character to do so. Now, not that we were throwing any logs on this rumor fire, but one thing we did talk about during the Ranker Pit breakdown of the Andor trailer was how there was a redhead tied up and being questioned. He did seem a little young, but if it's a flashback to a period of time closer to Order 66... But we're probably just barking up the wrong tree. One Star Wars character we probably won't see on their own small screen series is Han Solo. When speaking with Inverse about directing Light and Magic, Lawrence Kasdan pointed out that he's never been particularly drawn on expanding the young scruffy nerf herder into a show. He admits that he's talked to John Kasdan and Ron Howard about what did go right and go wrong, but he'd be more interested in doing another movie, but not a series. I will have to say that while Solo was what it was, and if you look at the treatment the one fan did for the Kenobi series, turning a 6-episode series into a more comprehensible 2.5-hour movie, then it to show that not everything needs to be a TV show, if it's anything at all. Kasdan is not the only one talking about the Solo failure. In an interview with Josh Horowitz on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, Taron Egerton talked about just how close he got to playing Han Solo for the film. He says he was on the Falcon, he was with Chewie, he was in full costume, and he decided not to go to the last round of auditions. So he hopes it's far enough behind everyone that he can talk about it without annoying anyone about talking about it now. Ahsoka author E.K. Johnston has come out defending Disney's disregard of canon from her own book. Sorry. In leaks provided by Reddit users Ahsoka and a video later from Neurodo1, the new animated series Tale of the Jedi has changed how Ahsoka became about her signature white lightsabers. In his 2016 book, she ends an Inquisitor's chase by ripping the kyber crystals from the lightsaber, triggering an explosion within the weapon that quickly consumes the Inquisitor. She then purifies them from their dark side influences that allows her to use them and gives them their white coloring. However, in the new series, she ends the fight simply crushing the Six Brothers lightsaber, still giving the explosion, but it leaves her crystalless and no explanation of her unique weapons. After enough backlash, Johnston finally spoke up, saying there isn't a big conspiracy behind the changes in Ahsoka's story. Dave approved of the book 6 years ago, and then he kept working on her journey. It's frustrating to see people gleefully declaring my book non-canon instead of just using their imaginations like we did. Now, some fans did accept this, figuring the show would have more to with it when it comes out. But it does make you wonder how much Disney will assume its own canon to be merely guidelines if this keeps up. As you might as well throw the whole idea of canon out the space log. And Mark Hamill has confessed to another prop or two that he has kept from Star Wars. First, it was his boots. Now we find out the stormtrooper helmet he wore rescuing Princess Leia. A pair of C-3PO's hands and feet from Jedi for his son Nathan, a prop rubber frog from Jabba's snack dish in Jedi, and an Imperial Death Star employee's cap. He then teased at the end of his post, end, parentheses, or is it? So we might find out more of his loot in the future. And that's it for this week. You're all invited to join us for the Ranker Pit, usually on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central here on Sci-Fi for Me TV. Don't forget, this next week we will be on Thursday, though. And there is no telling what we will discuss or who just may show up. In the meantime, you can connect with us over on the socials. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. And make sure you hit that like button. Until next week, we will see you later.
Copyright 2022 by Flaming Dog Media, LLC. All rights reserved. No portion of this program may be retransmitted without the express written consent of Flaming Dog Media. You're watching Sci-Fi for Me TV, delivering the multiverse since 2009.